terms of population, which is in connectivity associated with Central Asia, a lot of natural resources, hydrocarbon and the rest, with a relatively scarce population. And this region is next to one of the largest population, Chinese population, a neighborhood to that. Along with our strategic connectivity, the whole region of former Soviet Union and now the current Central Asia, with newly entities of 5 republics, along with the China and here in Pakistan. Then engulfing itself along with Caucasus, North Caucasus and Iran, and entering into former Asian Minor and current-day Turkey. So this whole region, with its population, with its geostrategic advantage, with its geoeconomic advantage, is asserting itself. It's asserting itself. How do we place Pakistan in that? Pakistan is endowed with natural resources. We are a country which has been hit by the volcanic eruption of a couple of millennia ago, which has craved out for us the Titian Belt, some part of Afghanistan, a bit of Iran, and most of southern Balochistan is gifted by those mineral resources, which probably would be a requirement in the future creation and manufacturing of all modern gadgetries. So that would have some sort of advantageous position where the rest of the global players would be eyeing on positively exploiting and developing partnership here in the region with Pakistan. Under 65% under the age of 25. It's a huge young population. Any of our European counterpart would appreciate more that what aging population brings challenges to the respective national governments, and what sort of youth and young contributors in any economy, in any society, has a value. So that added value is there. But of course, it's a challenge at the same time that if we do not have a sort of a skilled or a semi-skilled youth, that energy can be blasted, it can be disrupted, it can even lead towards sometimes social unrest or anarchy even. So we have to channelize that, we have to plan that, and that planning needs a very fine execution plan also. So we are already working on that. There are some training programs which we've been focusing and which we have designed. There are programs. We are trying to bring an ambitious plan in which we can train around 1 million nurses in next decade. 1 million nurses in 1 decade is and can be achievable if we just set our priorities right, which we are doing. What we are doing over there, that we are trying to enhance the standard and inspection of different medical institution, undergrad level, postgrad level. The nursing council is being revamped. So this is an area which I feel is very close to the heart of the current caretaker government, and this is one of the priority which we are focusing on. Along with this, some other vocational training and skill programs have been introduced. We are exploring the partnership with Siemens, Germany. Few other European partners are also investing in development of these skills. That is one area, I think, so where we should focus and invest more. Human resource development is the answer. That is the capital. I was once misquoted when I was asked that, oh, people are leaving this country. And I just abruptly said, so what? So what was not the final comment. There was a rational explanation behind that. So what? And that was that in last 5, 6, or 7 decades, many people have migrated to the European continent, particularly, and America, for that matter, from South Asia, be India or Pakistan or Bangladesh. And initially, they were thought that it's a brain drain. But after a few decades, when they settled there, they did a lot of accomplishment, and their return was then treated as a brain asset. They came back with the capital gain, with the expertise they developed over there. So whosoever immigrates from point A to point B is not just a story of failure. It's rather a beginning of a new success journey. So we should take it in a very sanguine and positive manner, and the entire story is not that bleak. So that actually was my purpose when I was commenting on that. Along with that, you know that we have initiated a very formal platform by the name of SIFC, and SIFC is an idea where the foreign investment could be attracted more. And this foreign investment is not an invitation to the regional players. It is an invitation to all players, be it in region or beyond the region. The idea was there was a lot of criticism on the government for doing its business quite slow. The bureaucratic hurdles and associated challenges with that. The outgoing parliament, they passed a law and they created this body which has representation at the highest level, both from military and civil. And this coalescing of governance player on one single platform provides a lot of opportunity for doing ease of business. So all the procedures are cut down when it comes to SIFC. By cutting down, I mean that they are rationalized, their timelines rationalized, their timelines are defined, and the achievables are stated over there and monitored even at that platform. We would be hearing some good news probably within weeks of receiving and having some MOUs regarding the investments on the platform of SIFC to the tune of billions of dollars from regional countries. And the rest of the potential in terms of agriculture, IT, mining, and others are also being showcased. And there is a lot of interest from other players also. Connectivity, Central Asian players, particularly Uzbekistan's Trans Railway network from Uzbekistan, Afghanistan to Pakistan is another ambitious program to which everyone is quite supportive. I had conversations not just with Central Asian leaders, but through them we have learned that European and Americans are also interested in this sort of connectivity, along with the Chinese leadership and the Russians also. So there seems to be a consensus. We are trying to upgrade Quetta-Taftan railway network, which would bring us to the new corridor and linking us to the North Caucasus, Azerbaijan, Iran, and the rest. So these are our areas where we feel that we would leave our legacy. On the domestic front, we are trying to revamp our taxation system because we have realized that until and unless we do not rationalize our expenditure and we do not generate our more revenues, you cannot run the country like this. The government has to focus and limit its expenditure habits, and it has to create new venues for creating more revenue. Along with that, I feel relatively media is very open, very independent, more independent probably as many prime ministers would claim, than European media or American media or other medias, beyond any sort of control, particularly the social media. The print and electronic is still regulated. They are also, well, all of us agree on regulations, but digital space and social media has created a new milieu, a political milieu, in which people are thinking, having discourses, discussions. So these are the challenges which is not being catered for by relatively traditional media. I mean, when I was a young kid, on the breakfast, we would read the Jung or the Mashriq newspaper in the morning. But when I wake up now, I have to go through and scroll all my WhatsApp messages, see what is happening on the YouTube, or all the vlogs and the rest of the associated activities. So this is a new entrant into the political spectrum of this country, and they are becoming very popular. And that popularity in last 2.5 years has turned into a new level, and it's a challenge and opportunity both to the traditional media, be it print or electronic as well. And it has its own political colors. It has its own political colors and quite organic. And for very right reasons. In any country, in the manner, the mushroom growth which we are having over here, if it would have been there, and the kind of political polarization we are experiencing right now, would have been a very favorite tool for anyone to express themselves. Whenever there are depolarization, as we were talking on that table, you go to the digital space and social media, how Middle East is being portrayed, the entire conflict over there, and how these tools on both sides, be it pro-Israeli or pro-Palestinian, both are using those tools to advance their narrative, to send their messages, and these tools have become very, very effective in terms of messaging. So this is another area which I feel Pakistan is quite, I wouldn't use the word struggling, but yes, in a way, it is a struggle. That how do you balance out that at the same time you don't want to stifle and put a stop to all these modern gadgetries and tools, and at the same time you try to design and develop a regulatory program where the terms of references could be agreed generally with the society, how to go about it. So this is the kind of conversation which is probably lacking at the moment. We need one. In Parliament, outside Parliament, we have got half of the Parliament, at least Senate can take a lead role on that if they choose to. If not, then again, it has to be left to the next Parliament when it comes into existence. Domestic political crisis, if it is one, I don't see it as a crisis. For me, it's one of the routine transformation in post-2008 experiment of ours. 3 of the parliament stints have been completed. It's a good continuation in the transitional democracy of Pakistan. And if we continue in this process, I'm quite optimist on that account that there would be more political education of the participants, of the voters, of the political parties, and gradually and slowly people will try to link the political parties with their delivery promises and delivery systems. If they don't, maybe next 2, 3 or 4 stint of parliaments, the entire transformation will face a very serious challenge from the masses. Because at the end of the day, the aspiring of legitimate political power by any political party is due to promise of a service delivery. if you do not go for the service delivery to the people, the entire argument, legitimate argument, loses its moral compass, and the performance of government has to be linked with the essence of democracy. So if someone is genuinely a believer in the democratic dispensation, they have to have service delivery better. Because no system is dogmatic. It is the trial and error system which many of our Western counterparts have learned on the Western Hemisphere and on the European continent particularly. And those experiences have also been transformed with different kinds of social and historical experiences. And there is a lot for us to learn. And there is a lot for us to contribute also. It is not exactly that we have to have a replica from there. We can learn and we can contribute. So it has to go both ways. We have stopped probably contributing our side. We're just looking at different models: Jeffersonian democracy, Westminster model of democracy, French democracy, or German democracy. There is no model which could be, let's say, we refer to as a Bhutan's model of democracy, or Indian model of democracy, or Nepalese model of democracy, or Pakistani model of democracy. So the contributing part is missing. Or Turkmen model of democracy. Well, democracy is not a noun which has an intellectual property right by the Europeans. So it's a practice or an attitude linked with human behavior in terms of politics by different nations, by different countries, in a different manner, in different historical contexts. So we need now to contribute also on that account. Have I passed my 20 minutes?
No, sir, you can go.
Okay. So I think so. Let's conclude this instead of just delivering a talk. I would take more of an interactive session and take more questions and a lot more time to that. Wouldn't it be a good idea?
I think so.
Yeah. So let me conclude then. So that's how I would try to summarize the challenges faced by Pakistan and the kind of response. Open the floor for Q&A.
यही तो हम सब चाहते थे, जैसा कि हमने देखा कि prospects for a better future, for a better Pakistan. यही तो हम सब चाहते थे कि prospects for a better Pakistan. तो वज़ीर आज़म साहब ने जो हमें बताया है कि in a couple of weeks we'll be having some good news. So it's always pleasant to listen to him. And one more thing, when he was talking about new entrants in media, so the traditional media, Jung and Geo Group, has the privilege to have you here with us and have this interactive session. So now the house is open. I'll request all of you to be brief and precise so we can learn more about future of Pakistan or a better Pakistan.
And introduce yourself.
Yeah, first introduce yourself. Ji, Taimur Khalid sab.
Next month wind up करेंगे सब कुछ.
दस 15 मिनट और करते हैं.
ठीक, ये तो.
Hello. Ji, my name is Khalid Taimur, and first of all, I would like to apprise the audience on two things, because I was there in the BRI forum in China, and once the Prime Minister, His Excellency, was there, and I think Pakistan got a lot of attention over there, and the way you spoke with President Xi Jinping and their Prime Minister is really commendable. And after you people had left, the Chinese media had given a lot of coverage to your meeting with the Prime Minister and the President. So my congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Secondly, you started off with your talk about ECO and about regional connectivity. Although the infrastructure part is getting completed in terms of CPAC and BRI, but still we need to have our quadrilateral trade agreements with these countries. There is no financial system. There is no, although logistic system has already started by TCS and NLC, but still the banking system and financial system and the trade agreements are still not there. So what would you like to say on that?
Let me share the good news. We are already on those bilateral trade agreements with many countries in the region, including Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, and the rest. Exim Bank has initiated its service related to all the export finances would be available on that platform. So there is a progress on that account too. We gave all the remaining licenses to the Exim during this caretaker government. So all of you would see a lot of improvement on that account, but we do appreciate and understand that these were the areas which were missing. The region is there, the potential is there, but the framework for logistic, for the trade agreements, for the finances were the missing part. So there is a deliberate work on that, and there will be an outcome on those deliberations quite soon, inshallah. मैं 3-4 क्वेश्चन लूंगा उसके बाद जाऊंगा
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. एक तो you have fit in the shoes of the Prime Minister very well.
Thank you.
But business community has few months or a year or so, and there is a feel-good factor now. You have done some good things. अच्छे काम हुए. SIFC also is a good platform. In fact, we were also consulted on that. But sir, the problem is there is a crisis of confidence. SIFC is also there to bridge that gap. But sustainability ke bare mein question mark. You are going to be there for say another 2 months, 3 months. Who would carry it forward? Or an SIFC should also cater for the local investor.
Absolutely.
Until and unless local investor is mobilized, the foreign investor will not come in. Sir, हमारा जो ये dilemma यही है, we have been talking about charter of economy. You are in a very good position to call all parties conference. Let there be representatives of each and every party and put down that charter. And those who will not sign, I think they will not get the right kind of votes that they are looking. This is the right time. The timing at times becomes very, very important. And sir, we are the stakeholders, the business community. You have to add them in SIFC. आपको दूसरे बोर्ड जो हैं उनमें business community को लाना चाहिए. Last evening I was hearing the finance minister. She has a wonderful idea कि FBR को अगर reform करना है तो board of governors या board of management जो है उसमें business community की representation हो. Now we know that we have to increase our tax base. तो वो आपको वही बता सकते हैं. Those who are in it, they can tell you ways and means to increase that. So we are for Pakistan, sir. Let me also compliment the Chief Minister of Punjab also. I think उन्होंने भी काम करके दिखाया है कि अगर इंसान काम करना चाहे तो you can do wonders. I think we need, लेकिन हमें अब यही है कि इसको sustain कैसे करेंगे उसके बारे में जरा please. Thank you very much.
Thank you. देखिए SIFC का जो प्लेटफॉर्म है वो प्राइमरीली इसकी कंटिन्यूएशन का जो ایک انٹیسپیشن یا خوف تھی کہ چیزیں ڈسکنٹینیو ہو جاتی ہیں. وہ اس کو ایڈریس کرنے کے لیے SIFC کریٹ کی گئی تھی اور اس کو اسٹیچوٹری پاس دی گئی, اس کو قانون کی سپورٹ ملی. ملٹری سول دونوں اس کا حصہ بن گئے اور چونکہ ظاہر ہے ہم 2 مہینے 2.5 مہینے میں اگر یہ تبدیلی آ بھی جاتی ہے, ایک جو اس کا سب سے امپورٹنٹ اور مضبوط کمپوننٹ ہے ملٹری, وہ تو اس کا حصہ کنٹینیو کرے گی, تو وہ اس کی سسٹینیبلٹی کو انشور کرے گی. اور اس وجہ سے مجھے کوئی اس میں بہت زیادہ پریشانی نہیں ہے جہاں تک اس کی کنٹینویشن کا تعلق ہے. دوسرا میں ایگری کرتا ہوں کہ جی ڈومیسٹک انویسٹرز کو, ڈومیسٹک انٹرپرینورز کو اگر ہم انکریج نہیں کریں گے, FDIs کا اپنا ایک امپیکٹ ہوتا ہے, وہ آتے ہیں لیکن پھر وہ ریپیٹریشن آف دا ویلتھ وچ از دیئر رائٹفل رائٹ, وہ $10 ارب کے ساتھ آئیں گے, 20 سال بعد $50 ارب کے ساتھ واپس چلے جائیں گے. So that is a phenomena which we have to be very careful also. I have always dreamed that I should have at least 1,000 local billionaires. میں ویلتھ کریشن پہ یقین رکھتا ہوں, میرا صرف اور صرف اس میں میرا حصہ ہے, میں آپ سے حصہ مانگتا ہوں اور وہ حصہ ہے ٹیکس. مجھے صرف آپ پیسہ بنائیں, میں آپ کو ٹیکس کروں, اس ٹیکس سے میں اسکول بناؤں, اس سے میں اپنی ڈیفنس کی ریکوائرمنٹ پوری کروں, ہسپتال بناؤں, روڈ انفراسٹرکچر, یہ میرا کام ہے. بزنس کرنا میرا کام نہیں ہے. Lies a fair argument, there is no need for the government to do business. The business has to be done by the businessman. اور پاکستانی انٹرپرینورشپ سکلز بہت زیادہ ہیں. ہمیں یہ چاہیے کہ we need to create 1,000 billionaires. That wealth creation has to come through domestic investors. The foreign investor would stimulate that environment for us of growth and wealth creation. We cannot just go for protectionism. کہ ہم پروٹیکشنزم میں چلے جائیں اور باقی دنیا کے ساتھ نہ ٹریڈ کرنی ہے نہ انویسٹمنٹ لینی ہے گڈز اور سروسز کی. سو وی ہیو ٹو ہیو اکنامک انٹریکشن ود دیم. Our investors will go to the other part of the world and the investors of the other part of the world would come here. So the cycle has to be very natural and اپنے domestic investors کو they are more than welcome on the platform of the SIFC. اگر آپ لوگ چاہتے ہیں کہ فارمل کوئی انویٹیشن وہ بھی ہم آپ کو بھجوا دیں گے, کوئی باڈی کوئی اسٹرکچر. میرے خیال میں آرمی چیف خود بھی بزنس مین سے ملے تھے کراچی اور لاہور میں, مجھے بھی ایک دفعہ اتفاق ہوا تھا کراچی میں ملنے پہ. ہم اس کو فردر بھی چینلائز کر سکتے ہیں ایگریکلچر میں, مائننگ میں, IT میں, جہاں جہاں آپ لوگوں کو لگتا ہے کہ ہمارے ڈومیسٹک انویسٹرز کو آنا چاہیے, آپ ہمیں بہت زیادہ ویلکمنگ اور اوپن پائیں گے. وی آر ویری پرو بزنس پیپل. تھینک یو.
ظفر بختاوری, سیکرٹری جنرل یونائٹڈ بزنس گروپ پاکستان. کاکڑ صاحب, مجھے بڑی خوشی ہوئی آپ کی باتیں سن کے, اور آپ کے بارے میں جو ایک تاثر ہم نے قائم کیا تھا کہ آپ سے پہلے ہمیں امید کی کرن نظر نہیں آ رہی تھی کہ یہ ملک کی اکانومی کدھر جائے گی, لیکن آپ نے آنے کے بعد اس قوم کو ایک ہوپ دی ہے, اور پاکستان کی پوری بزنس کمیونٹی اس امید کے ساتھ ہے کہ آپ نے جو اقدامات کیے ہیں یہ انشاءاللہ سسٹین رہیں گے اور آگے بڑھیں گے, اور ملک کے عوام جو ہیں ان کو صورت موجودہ کیئر ٹیکر حکومت کی صورت میں ایک امید کی کرن نظر آ رہی ہے. تو میں اس بات کو آگے بڑھتے ہوئے, آپ نے کنیکٹیوٹی کے حوالے سے بات کی, تو خاص طور پر ریلوے کے پروجیکٹ کے بارے میں, پاکستان, افغانستان, ازبکستان, اس میں ایڈ یہ کرنا چاہوں گا کہ سر اس موجودہ جو انٹرنیشنل سینیریو ہے اس میں کوئی بھی ملک چاہے کتنا ہی اسٹرانگ کیوں نہ ہو وہ انڈیویجولی پروگرس نہیں کر سکتا और लेटेस्ट वर्ल्ड में जिन रीजन ने तरक्की की है उनमें यूरोपियन यूनियन और आसियान जो रीजन है उन्होंने एक जजीरे रीजन के अंदर कायम किए हैं। हमारी बदकिस्मती ये है कि हम अभी तक सीखा नहीं हमने कि हमने अपने साथ कैसे रीजन को लेकर चलना है, और यही हमारा सबसे बड़ा अलमिया है। अभी आपने ECO की भी बात की है तो मुझे बड़ी खुशमिया है अभी आपने ECO की भी बात की है तो मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई है कि आपके जहन के अंदर आपने उज़्बेकिस्तान को, अज़रबैजान को और टर्की को इनके हवाले से आपने बात की। तो वाई नॉट वी शुड फोकस ऑन ECO। इस रीजन पे 10 मुल्क हैं, जैसे कि आपने भी कहा है कि इसकी आबादी आसियान और यूरोपियन यूनियन के भी बराबर है, और ये फुल ऑफ पोटेंशियल है, फुल ऑफ हाइड्रोकार्बन रिजर्व है। तो इसमें सर कोई रीजन की डेवलपमेंट के अंदर जो कनेक्टिविटी है इसके ऊपर रेलवे के साथ साथ दीगर कनेक्टिविटी, एयर कनेक्टिविटी, रोड कनेक्टिविटी और FTA, इन चीज़ों पे फोकस किया जाए तो मेरे ख्याल में हम एक तरक्की की शराक पे आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। शुक्रिया।
मैं सिर्फ रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि जो सवाल हो उनको ज़रा मुख्तसर रखें।
इन तमाम चीज़ों पे मेरे ख्याल में अभी ऑलरेडी फोकस है। FTA से लेकर एयर कनेक्टिविटी, अभी हमने सेंट्रल एशिया में एक एयरलाइन को वो दी है, इजाज़तनामा दिया है कि वो डायरेक्ट फ़्लाइट्स स्टार्ट करें। अज़रबैजान की एयरलाइन आ रही है, मुख्तलिफ एयरलाइंस। हम चाह रहे हैं कि आप 2 घंटे की फ़्लाइट अगर आप तुर्कमेनिस्तान पहुँचे हैं या ताशकंद पहुँचे, इसको वाया मिडल ईस्ट करते हुए आप 6 घंटे 8 घंटे में क्यों पहुँच रहे हैं। तो ये वो सब तमाम चीज़ें हैं जो एड्रेस हो रही हैं, और इंशाल्लाह आपको और कुर्बत नज़र आएगी वक्त के साथ साथ। इसमें इट इज़ ऑन द टॉप प्रायोरिटी, हम लगे हुए हैं।
Thank you very much, sir. Assalamu alaikum, sir. My name is Malik Mukhtar Mohammad Khan, and I am from District Swabi and from Higher Education Department, KPK. Sir, I have been listening to your speeches and conferences from the very first day, and there are 2 reasons. The content of what you say and the way you express yourself. You express yourself very well in English and Urdu and of course in Pashto. My question is, being Pashtun, you're reaching the top level in the decision-making circle. It gives a message to the people that certain people, group of people who feel exclusive, they now feel and should feel maybe genuine, and some are propaganda-based. Your thinking and your thoughts about economy, I'd support that, but my question is, sir, and I would say that the many government, they think about the macro level, and when they reach the government reach the grassroots level, especially the far-flung areas of Balochistan and KP and Punjab and Sindh, the government have a lot of boulders. They do not reach there. So what are your plans to include those people to remove the poverty? Because you see, a hungry man is an angry man, and you cannot teach philosophy to the people who is hungry. So I would say, what is your focus on the far-flung, the marginalized people? And I would suggest this. This is my question, sir.
It's not that I'm undermining the value of far-flung areas. The part of problem with our governance structure has been that we are very urban-oriented people, and our paradigm of development has been that we have developed Peshawar, we have developed Pindi, we have developed Karachi, we have developed Lahore, we have developed Quetta. But the horizontal development of the areas has been utterly and completely ignored. What can or what should or what would I do in these 2.5 months is a bit ambitious for me. We should, but we can't. Due to the paucity of time. Of course, these are the long-term projects. This is the long-term planning. I do have a view on that, and I completely subscribe that until and unless you do not shift the paradigm of this development towards the main or peripheral Pakistan, if we can call it, these sort of challenges would haunt us for long. What is the idea of the state for someone who's in South Waziristan or North Waziristan or in Mand or in Bullo? He doesn't have access to clean drinking water. His child cannot go to the school. If his wife gets ill, she cannot receive treatment. So these are the things which would be translating in his mind, and he is developing a relationship with the state or with the idea of the state or government or country. So for that, primarily, you need a local government, not a caretaker government. And where is the local government? No one is interested in this country in local government. So at the Union Council level, there has to be an accountable and elected or nominated person, whatever the system is. And that person has to, or that institution has to cater for all the things to make that one individual secure enough who could identify himself with that country or state. He is the one or she is the one who is marginalized. So the answer lies in this local government systems. And I don't want to accuse anyone who's interested in the local government. The provincial tier, the national tier, they were resisting 18th Amendment. And one of the condition of the 18th Amendment was that there had to be a provincial finance commission. Has anyone talked about the provincial finance commission? Because the financial resources had to be distributed on the same formula advocated against the federation. The districts would have been advocating same with the provincial capital. That a district, let's say on the basis of backwardness, demography, and the rest of the factors they have to cater for and attract particular funds. That never happened. And we created a new center of the excellence of political power in the name of Chief Minister, and all the politicians are running to be the Chief Minister of the provinces. Because the entire political and financial power is centralized in that one office. So it has become so localized in that one office. So it has become so lucrative. And it is the symbolum and the emblem of civil supremacy and democracy, and we are revolving around all those fancy ideas without realizing that how is it translated into the service delivery of the governance system. So this is part of the problem, but this is my view, and a view based on the observation of the system. We'll see how it goes.
The second last question.
Assalamu alaikum ji. Thank you for sharing your dream for a more prosperous Pakistan. I'm just deeply concerned. Let me just introduce myself. My name is Faryal Ali Bahar. I'm an advisor for the Diamar Basha Dam and also for Dasu Hydropower. I'm a political economist by training, and the development or the growth of capital has very often led to the growth of poverty. And I'm just very concerned, having worked with the Planning Commission as a consultant, on the first participatory poverty assessment of this country, that actually we have more poor people with more numbers in terms of the wealthy. You've just spoken in terms of decentralization of powers. And I think, yes, this is something that is a seed that needs to be planted in terms of governance, but we also need to empower people right at the grassroots level. In your mind, do you also have a dream about empowering people, ordinary people? You talked about our youth bulge, which we refer to as the demographic window. What opportunities do we have other than skills training to actually empower young people who form the large mass of our population? what are the safety nets that these 1,000 billionaires who would obviously be taxed? But we know that most of the wealthiest people, including agriculturalists, do not pay adequate tax in terms of the kind of incomes that they're earning. So, those are governance issues, but also I want to go back to your dream. Are you dreaming also of providing safety nets to the majority of this country's people who at this point, 73% of them don't know if they have a meal coming? Thank you.
Thank you, Faryal. First of all, you don't need an introduction. You are already known throughout the country, and your prime identity is not as a political economist, but as an artist, a production of NCA. And I, as a kid, remember you when you used to appear on different dramas, national media, and yes, of course, we've always been a huge fan of yours. We need to define poverty if we want to talk about the dream. What is poverty? How would we define poverty? Is it only a disadvantageous material situation? Or there is a emotional, spiritual, internal part in which people are disadvantageous materially at times, but they still term themselves very rich. It comes to the Eastern ethos and values. Was Shams Tabriz a poor or rich? Was Ghalib poor or rich? He's quite in a begging situation all his life, thanks to the British colonizers. And not to you, Jane. You're not part of that. So we need to have those kind of discussions and discourses in this country. Material advancement is important. I do not undermine the value of that. But at the same time, there is another aspect to human soul. And the empowerment of the people, they should be empowered to think. They should be empowered to express what they think. They should be empowered to read, write, create, make, for that very purpose for which human has been realized on this planet. That realization or the self-actualization process is one of the most important journey. In any country, in any government should have a enabling environment to have its own people who are protected and have those safety nets to create that ambience, to really working towards that end goal. That is the end goal. And my honest opinion is that Pakistan was actually created for this purpose, where people are not just empowered, but they are primarily, they would take away all the shackles, internal shackles, and their soul would be free to have that journey. They would be worshipping the transcendental, but all the material would be at his or her disposal. The material cannot be placed as God. This is one of our contests with capitalism. Though we do agree with certain shades of capitalism when we try to create 1,000 billionaires. But this is our part of contribution towards that capitalist system. That there has to be another part of human life, shade, nuance, which contributes on non-material front. And that non-material front, even at times, get monetized. What is the value of Kundan Lal Sehgal in today's Coke studio? What is the value of Begum Makhtar in value of Coke studio? You know, so these are, we are having a continuation. We are a civilization. We are a culture. We have got diversified poetic experiences, linguistic experiences. Look at our collective memory. We are communicating with one another in English because we have been a British colony for 200 years. The Central Asian Turks have ruled this region. So there are almost more than 3,000 words of Urdu language coming from Uzbeki language. So there are Turkic influence, there is Persian influence, there is Arabic influence, there is a Sanskrit influence. So this is all creating a collective memory which we call Pakistan. So Pakistan is quite rich. I never take myself or my nation as poor. Yes, there are certain material disadvantages. We are at a materially disadvantaged situation due to some incompetence, governance incompetence of ours. We can address that. We will address that, and we should address that. But the journey is larger and bigger than that.
There's been a lot of talk about taxing untaxed sectors. For instance, agriculture. For instance, retail. Are there any efforts being made to tax these two sectors, especially when the IMF review has just successfully been completed?
Yes, there are attempts, there are plans, but as you would appreciate, there are constitutional challenges. Agriculture is a devolved subject with the provinces. Retail, we are also mulling over this idea, how to go about it. Shall we have a fixed rate of the tax, or it should be variable? But it has to be part of the tax net. There is no doubt on that. We are working on it, and these are the areas which are related to these are forthcoming FPR reforms. Thanks.
वज़ीर आज़म साहब के कुछ मसरूफियात हैं, अदरवाइज वो हमारे साथ मज़ीद बात कर सकते हैं और वो
एक तुर्कमेन एम्बेसडर को कुछ कहें.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Matajan Mavlov, Ambassador of Turkmenistan and Dean of Diplomatic Corps. On behalf of my colleagues, ambassadors, high commissioners here, I would like to thank Honorable Prime Minister for your sharing of your views for this meeting, and of course team of Junk Media Group for organizing leadership and team for organizing this meeting. And I think it is very important interaction and very effective interaction. And I thank again His Excellency Honorable Prime Minister for sharing his views with us about present and future. And I wish you all success. And sure, with joint efforts, Pakistan will be a further developed and prosperous country. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will request Sarmadri Saab for a thanks note, and before that I will ask him to please start preparing for a bigger breakfast with 1,000 billionaires. What a dream.
निगरान वज़ीर आज़म अनवारुल हक काकर ने ब्रेकफास्ट विद पीएम में सवालात के जवाब दिए हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि इंसानी वसाइल की तरक्की और इस्लाहात पर काम जारी है और बैरूनी सरमाकार ज़राअत, मादनियात समेत दीगर शोबों में सरमाकारी करेंगे। पाकिस्तान में हुनरमंद और ज़हीन अफराद की सलाहियतों को बुरूए कार लाना होगा। इसके साथ साथ उन्होंने कहा कि नौजवानों को हुनर सिखाने के लिए मुख्तलिफ ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स का आगाज़ करने जा रहे हैं। एक ब्रेक लेते हैं।
डायल करो *408# और पाओ हर 200 या 200 से जायद के रिचार्ज पर फुल बैलेंस विद जैज़ सुपर 4G।
सेंसोडाइन रैपिड एक्शन सिर्फ 60 सेकंड्स में आराम देता है और इसके बाद आप अपनी मनपसंद चीजें और